Let's jump right into things. Today, we're taking some heavy academic frameworks and transforming them into a highly practical management toolkit. We're going to master the true dimensions of business innovation using a field guide that helps us classify, compare, and actually apply innovation effectively.
But first, we need to bust a major myth. You look around the business world right now and man, people love a good buzzword. But think about it. Is every single new smartphone app truly disruptive? Or have we just completely lost the actual definition of that word?
To clear that up, here is our roadmap for today's breakdown. We'll start with 1. Decoding the innovation buzzwords. Then we'll move through our 3 lenses. Lens 1, forms of innovation. Lens 2, types of innovation. And Lens 3, product classifications. After that, we'll dive into the impact of innovation and wrap it all up with the Innovation Manager's Toolkit.
Okay, let's hit part 1, decoding the innovation buzzwords, and specifically the 3-lens framework. This overarching concept is exactly what's going to stop us from mislabeling every new idea that crosses our desk.
Think of this framework literally like swapping out lenses on a camera, depending on what exactly you want to focus on. Our first lens, form, answers what changed. Was it a product, a service, a process? The second lens, type, asks how deeply it changed. Are we talking a minor incremental tweak or a massive systemic shift? And the third lens, product classification, asks how this new thing relates to the current market. You know, a single update to a banking app could actually be a service innovation in its form, incremental in its type, and an improvement in product classification. And all 3 of those labels are completely correct at the exact same time.
Moving on to part 2, let's attach that first lens, forms of innovation. This helps us identify the main object of change within an organization.
The source material breaks down 10 distinct forms of innovation. This ranges from changing your physical product or service all the way to reinventing your core business model or even blowing up and redesigning your entire organizational structure. The really crucial takeaway here, don't try to cram an innovation into just one neat little box. A single digital platform project might combine a physical product change, an open knowledge flow with external startups, and a totally new business model. A smart manager figures out the dominant form and then recognizes all the supporting forms, making it happen.
To see this specific lens out in the wild, let's look at AirAsia's 2001 relaunch. They re-entered the market as a low-fare, no-frills airline, explicitly designed to make flying accessible to a wildly broader population.
And this is a brilliant illustration of how forms overlap in reality. Look, AirAsia wasn't just a marketing innovation with some flashy new ads. It worked because their unbundled services, their incredibly disciplined operational processes, and their fundamental business model all reinforce that exact same low-cost logic. A business model innovation only survives if every other operating choice backs it up.
All right, part 3. Let's swap to lens 2, types of innovation. We use this to measure the degree, the pattern, or the overall consequence of the change. So this lens shifts our focus from what is changing to how it's changing, spread across 6 distinct types. It's a spectrum. On the low end, you have gradual, incremental improvements. On the high end, you have massive system innovations. And system innovations are wild because they require coordinated social and technical change across tons of different actors. Think about the transition to renewable energy or moving to a fully cashless society. No single organization controls a system innovation, no matter how much a CEO might wish they did.
And right here is where we need to clear up arguably the biggest misunderstanding in modern business. The next time you hear someone excitedly call their new app disruptive, ask yourself if it actually fits the true definition. Because radical simply means a high degree of technological novelty. True disruption, on the other hand, is a very specific market entry path. A disruptive innovation usually starts out with inferior traditional performance, but it offers a simpler, cheaper option for overlooked users. Then, it slowly improves over time to eventually topple the big industry giants.
A fantastic everyday example of how these types overlap is the touch-and-go RFID system in Malaysia. This setup links a unique tag on your vehicle directly to an e-wallet for entirely seamless toll payments.
Now, while that physical RFID sticker on your windshield is just a component innovation, once you link it to highway lanes, toll operators, and user accounts, it creates a huge architectural change. And then trying to standardize that across an entire national mobility network, that suddenly becomes a highly complex system innovation challenge. You can have technically flawless components, but if that wider system interface fails, the user experience just completely falls apart.
On to part 4, lens 3, product classifications. This final lens defines how a new offering relates to what is already out there in the world. We have 5 main buckets here, scaling from a simple improvement on a current product all the way up to a true breakthrough that creates a brand new industry. The golden rule for this lens: always state your comparison point. You have to finish the sentence. New compared to what? An offering might be a historic breakthrough for the whole world, or, it might just be a new-to-the-company improvement that the rest of the industry has already been doing for years.
Take Proton's introduction of their first SUV, the X70, back in 2018. That was a completely new to the company market positioning, but the subsequent updates, like the 2025 version, those are classified differently. Because they just improve a known platform without replacing the core architecture, we classify those updates as incremental improvements.
Let's look at Part 5, the impact of innovation. Because obviously, innovation doesn't happen in a vacuum. We really need to explore how these changes ripple out into the real world. A new product doesn't just sit on a shelf, it actively alters its environment.
An innovation changes way more than just a company's sales figures. It redefines societal access and inclusion. Just think about how digital platforms have completely shifted our baseline expectations for convenience. Once we experience instant, cashless payments, we suddenly expect that speed literally everywhere. It changes human behavior by forcing us to build new habits and trust brand new automated systems. And of course, it forces businesses to confront entirely new operational risks like algorithmic bias or massive data protection issues.
Grab is a phenomenal example of this widespread, cascading impact. Back in 2012, it started as MyTaxi, a straightforward service meant to make catching a taxi safer. But it evolved into this massive, multi-service super app ecosystem, covering mobility, food delivery, and finance. The core lesson here? When you build a platform of that scale, you aren't just selling a product anymore. You are actively managing trust, safety, and human incentives on multiple sides of a massive ecosystem, all at the exact same time.
Finally, Part 6, the Innovation Manager's Toolkit. We've built out the framework and analyzed the real-world impacts. Let's wrap this up by turning these academic classifications into actionable strategies for management.
As a manager, you absolutely have to balance your innovation portfolio to mitigate risk. If you rely solely on incremental innovation, sure, you get incredibly efficient, but you get efficient at yesterday's business model. On the flip side, if you exclusively chase those radical breakthrough ideas, you are going to burn through all your resources without actually delivering any current value. You need those short cycles for incremental wins, paired with staged, option-based planning for your big radical bets.
I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought on responsible innovation. As we master these classification tools to build better, faster products and services, we have to look past just technical or commercial success. We have to manage the real, systemic risks. We've got to ask ourselves, who truly benefits from this? What subtle human behaviors are we actively encouraging with our new choice architectures? And ultimately, when our shiny new systems inevitably fail, who is left carrying the burden? Take these lenses, apply them to your own work, and go innovate responsibly.